Dr. Yonakura Haruka, Session 2, Log 135. Well, despite the numerous hardships, we finally made it to the end. This is the last log I'll be recording for the session. Quite frankly, I couldn't be happier. I'm done with this place. I'm done with this session. I'm done with this group, this case, these logs, the plane, the rabbit. Let's wrap this up, please. Earlier tonight, students 5, 12, and 14 made a pact that entailed student 12 being sacrificed with the intention of activating the crossplate gate. I won't bother addressing how completely ridiculous that sentiment is. Regardless, that was the plan. However, rather reminiscent of a similar case from Session 1, Student 12 made the executive decision to pin the murder on Student 9. He did this with the intention of setting her free. However, thanks to negligence and misbehavior on the part of our lovely host, the plan was a failure, and Student 9 was executed. After Loyalty Game, 9 and 12 met up in the Observation Commons for their nightly game session. They'd been doing this every night for a couple days now, but this time around, they had agreed to implement some sort of punishment game for the loser. The punishment in question involved the loser drinking a concoction the two had put together in the kitchen, specifically designed to be repulsive. Unbeknownst to 9, 12 had also added a highly toxic substance to the glass and fully intended to lose the game on purpose. After successfully throwing the game and earning the punishment, 12 drank the poison, thus sealing his fate. With the poison already in his system, 12 proceeded to meet up with 5 and 14, who were planning to sacrifice him, as mentioned prior. The plan hit a rut. There was a small but violent dispute, and in the end, 12 succumbed to the poison and died before either student could bring about his intentional sacrifice, officially marking Student 9 as the final blackened of Session 2 and bringing this game to an end. Once again, in the final moments, the most crucial moments of the entire game, Monomoko chose to needlessly interfere and complicate things. Last time this happened, I let it slide with a little more than a warning. This time, with such blatantly detrimental interference, Dr. Khan is dealing with her right now. I don't have the patience for it. I wouldn't be able to control myself. He keeps a cooler head than I do. He'll handle it. Enough stalling. I'm exhausted. I'm hungry. Let's just wrap this up so we can get moving into the next session. I'm going to take immense pleasure in reading through this one. 9 has been getting under my skin for some time. But even aside from that, I hope Monomoko can take this as a sign of what happens when she thinks she has the right to interfere with the gameplay. Battlebot Bloodbath. Well, we're off to a good start already. I'm going to guess right off the bat that this will be another lazy, uncreative execution by Dr. Khan with a completely unnecessary level of production value. Let me guess, she fights some robots and they kill her. I'm sure it's very exciting, very thrilling. Let's just get this over with. Battlebot Bloodbath. Student 9 was brought into the execution chamber with each of her wrists and ankles having been marked with a red tie. It is worth noting that during this time, Monomoko was explicitly barred from entering the execution chamber under any circumstances, and was residing in a nearby observation room backing the west wing. With the entrance fully sealed, the execution could then commence. Initially, one opponent was also released into the execution chamber, a creation of the engineering department, using 9's own schematics and materials gathered from the bots that she had either brought into the game or created during her time in the facility. The engineering department used the trial time to disassemble these bots and reassemble them into proper opponents for 9. When 9 downed the first opponent with ease, 2 more were introduced, upping the difficulty slightly. While 9 initially assumed that these robots were functioning with the sole intention of killing her, the truth was that the robots were specifically designed to seek out the red markers placed on her wrists and ankles. They performed as such. After downing the next 2 robots, 3 more were introduced. This proved to be an overwhelming number for 9, and one of the robots managed to land a blow on her left wrist. Upon making contact with the marker, the bot swiftly removed the corresponding limb, further inhibiting 9's ability to fight. Now holding a thorough understanding of the execution's objective, 9 became much more careful, doing her best to avoid being struck near any of the remaining 3 markers. However, as the game progressed, the number of opponents continued to increase, making this evasion more and more difficult. At the 5-opponent mark, 9's left leg was confiscated by another bot, further inhibiting her. At the 7-opponent mark, 9's right leg was confiscated, causing extreme physical damage to her persons. In practice, this ended the fight. Unable to stand or engage in any further combat and bleeding heavily, 9 was soon completely overwhelmed by opponents and eviscerated in the process. Ironically enough, it seems as though the bots viewed the blood in the same way as they viewed the red markers, so the damage was immense. Well, I'll give him that, I suppose. It was better than I expected. The markers were a nice touch, and I can certainly appreciate that the bots were made by recycling her own bots, but I don't know. Perhaps I'm just getting bored of these types of executions. I'm sure they'll be more interesting next time around. They'll have to be. I'd theorize further on the matter, but I can't since I'm not even sure what ultimates we'll be dealing with in Session 3. It's making me antsy, honestly. I have no idea who she could possibly be picking. So that's it then. The game is done. This one, at least. All we can do is start preparing for next time and hope for the best. The team's certainly smaller this time around. What with Hisae choosing to forfeit her position and Muranaga doing whatever it is he's doing now. Seki's death is worth noting as well, I guess, but it shouldn't concern me, honestly. He wasn't my lab assistant. He was Khan's. I'll leave his fate up to Khan. It worries me a bit. I don't know what they did with him. Yeah, I don't know. That's it. The game's over. What else do you expect me to say? It's over. We have work to do. Dr. Yonakura Haruka, Session 2, Log 135, End. I guess.